Welcome, everybody, to a slightly delayed edition of the second show for Ring of Honor 2022 with Cody Rhodes as head booker. So been a little bit, just like I said with other videos, in case you haven't been following them, just life in general, Thanksgiving, all that fun stuff. Regardless, I'm back in gear. I'm ready to roll here for Best in the World 2022. But just in case people forgot, let's go over the last show real quick. So we had our beginning of our Proving Ground match where Dak Draper won it, got 5 points. Blake Christian got 3 points, Ninja Mack got 1 point, Aaron Solo got 0 points, which means he's now out of the Proving Grounds for 60 days. We had Holidead winning basically a 6-way match, also involving Angel Williams, AQA, Callie Ray, Max the Impaler, and Trisha Adora. Deck out of 37, Samuray also, Mascara, Dorada, Bandido, Tino to defeat Shane Taylor, the Russian Chris Bay in a 47, and the Russian Bay got a bit of revenge, diving on luchadors. And then we had our basically 3 matches to determine the first North American title and the final Pure and World Television titles. So Josh Woods defeating Rhett Titus in I Quit match, retaining the Pure title. Josh Woods and Rhett Titus then going to a time limit draw for a television title, and then Josh Woods defeating Rhett Titus to win the North American title. And that was my way to get rid of the Pure and TV titles, basically, because there's too many titles. Let me just put it that way. Then Deonna Purrazzo defeated Will Nightingale to retain the Women's World title in a pretty decent match. We had the Briscoe brothers defeat the OGK in a world title match, tag title match, in our actual best match of the night, I believe it was. Well, maybe it wasn't. Briscoe celebrate, then Motor City Machine Guns made their return to face off and basically, challenge the Briscoes. Then in our semi-main, we had Jonathan Gresham defeat Davey Rich to retain the ROH World title in a 42. Then Dalton Castle came out and challenged Gresham. We had Cody's entrance with Brandi, and then in the main event, he defeated Eddie Edwards in a 56. And then Mack Cardona made his way to Ring of Honor, attacking Cody Rhodes. So that sets up our card for today, and let's get rolling with the show. And we're in front of 2,740 people in Newark, New Jersey, as we're going to sort of stay in old school Ring of Honor territories to begin until we build things up. But yeah, we're going to start the show up as we have some, opening videos here. So this gets a 34, and I forgot actual storylines. There we go. Oops. But yeah, basically focusing on the world title match, the Cody Cardona match, and also the tag title match. And then we go to our opening match, which is of course the second edition of the preview rounds. So remember, how it works is the winner of the 4-way gets 5 points. The person who gets eliminated last gets 3 points. The second last person gets 1 point. And the first person eliminated gets 0 points, and they're not allowed in the proving grounds for 60 days. And the gimmick is, at the end of the proving grounds, the 2 competitors with the lowest points will be basically moved from the ROH roster, basically at Final Battle. And anybody who gets 12 points or above can challenge Homicide, is basically our in-game, in-character, head of the proving grounds, to a match to advance out of the proving grounds, basically not exactly onto the main roster, because people in the proving grounds were wrestling on their matches, but sort of prove themselves to be out of the proving grounds completely. So in that match, which gets a 30, which actually isn't terrible, the world famous CB, otherwise better known as Cheeseburger, defeats Blake Christian, Isom, and Ninja Mack in 11:43 when the world famous CB. Oh, I forgot this is a elimination match. Well, it was an elimination match. And first eliminated was Ninja Mack, so he's now gone for 60 days out of the proving grounds. Again, that isn't wrestling in their matches, but stops him from earning points to stay in the promotion. Then, then rolled the famous CB, defeated Isom, and then in the final, CB and Christian, wrestled for a few minutes before world famous CB got a quick roll up on Blake Christian to get the big one here on Best in the World. This gets a 30, Blake Christian gets a 33, world famous CB gets a 36. Ninja Mack gets a 34, Isom gets a 27. And these are point totals after that, as Blake Christian at 6. Sorry, doing math in my head here. Dak Draper at 5. World famous CB at 5. Ninja Mack at 1. Isom at 1. And Aaron Solo at 0. And then post-match, World Famous CB celebrates as, just whatever, a big one for him, and Homicide says, if he can get a little more serious, he might have a chance in this company. This gets a 25. And move forward to our first big match. As in a forgot this match. So this is a tag match, basically set up, it's Angel Williams and Mandy Leone, I forgot who they, Adora? No, oh god, I forgot their tag team name in Ring of Honor. I'm totally blanking. If you would ask me 5 minutes ago, I would have been able to pull it up. No, that's not it. XS, no, that's... Oh, you know it. But anyway, they were a team in Ring of Honor at the end, and now they're facing off against Mack the Impaler and Trisha Adora, and like they don't have the same gimmick, but like they're more tough, more tough, brash, violent parts of the division, and I mean they're the heels, which is a little, but that stuff kind of happen in wrestling. But the thing is, they sort of like just throw around and kill Angel Williams and Mandy Leone, which is fine because Angel Williams she's a veteran of this business, she's fine, and Mandy Leone, I mean, like she was never much of a worker. Like she's great to look at, but she was also Delirious's girlfriend for a long time, so maybe that's why she was part of the roster for a long time. Because like, yeah, it's not great, but like they just get killed. Like we're not writing these two women off, but considering how they're doing, maybe. Anyway, in the end, Maxine Impaler gets the win over Mandy Leone, and like this is just a not quite a total squash, as they usually get a little bit of offense, but this is just a dominant performance. Mandy Leone gets a 17, Angel Williams gets a 37, Trisha Adora gets a 28, and Maxine Impaler gets a 33 for 29 overall. And post-match, the beatdown continues to a 31, as he also recover, a vicious beatdown, like of total domination here by Maxine Impaler and Trisha Adora, who could be faces, new faces of the Ring of Honor Women's division, as opposed to Angel Williams and Mandy Leone. And now it's time for, so basically what's happening here is, I'm going to use Brandi Rhodes as a backstage interviewer, mainly because she's probably going to do the best job at it. It sort of like continues the Cody's in charge, and it can build a little heat if necessary, stuff. So first we have Brandi Woods, and the point of these interviews on shows, at least FITE TV, is basically to set up matches for the next show, further storylines, get people who aren't wrestling on the show because they have limited time and a bigger roster than they probably should, on the shows to get them over a little bit. So this is Brandi Rhodes with the Kingdom, and they basically put themselves over, as yes, Briscoes won, and we can't challenge for the tag titles as long as you're champions, but sooner or later, the Briscoes, you're not going to be champions again, and then we're going to rise up to the top as a Kingdom should. Maria puts over Matt Taman as a former champion, Michael Bennett, as her main man, and, one of the, most unappreciated wrestlers in the world, and she's the smartest woman in the business, and she's going to lead Kingdom back to the top. 35, decent promo, not the great, but pretty solid stuff here. And now we have our first title match, as Josh Woods makes his first defense of the North American title against Harry Smith, making his Ring of Honor debut, at least his... he might have wrestled before, I honestly forgot. But his modern Ring of Honor debut, and he basically comes in as, honestly this match was better than I thought. Woods is really good in ring. This is just two big tough guys beating the shit out of each other for 13 minutes. It's get some suplexes, Woods takes downs, Harry Smith's throwing people around with suplexes, Smith going for the running power slam late, but Woods getting out of it. Woods taking some, big knee drops and taking Smith down. We have a bit of MMA back and forth as Smith has done that, and so does Woods. But eventually, Woods does lock Harry Smith into a submission in a little over 13 minutes, and making defense number one as the North American title and get the big win over Harry Smith is Josh Woods here, as this gets a 42. Harry Smith gets a 41. Josh Woods gets a 38. Nothing. Yeah, adequate gimmick. Sure. And post-match, Woods celebrates with the title as the announcers put over as one of the new rising young stars of Ring of Honor, as this gets a 29. And then we have a tag team match going from the last show, where of course Bay and Rush and Samurai and Mascara Dorada were part of a big 6-man match, and now they're facing off a big tag match. And honestly, this is probably better than this should have probably been a little higher on the card, but this is just this is a pure PWG lucha indie style spot fest. I'm going to bad describe this matchup. Just insert random flying move here, and it's probably hit planchas, 450s, floating 630s moonsaults, twisting 630 moonsaults, double springboards, aside moonsaults, and of course all those moves turn into cutters, power slams, suplexes, double teams along. But eventually, Leo Rush hits the finisher, pins Master Dorada with it, basically clean, and the winner of the match is Bay and Rush. This gets a 50, Leo Rush gets a 56, Chris Bay gets a 45, Master Dorada gets a 47, Samurai Del Sol gets a 55. Fun stuff, and yeah, good stuff. And Bay and Rush have excellent chemistry teaming together, which I forgot, or I didn't know, which is interesting. And then post-match, Bay and Rush celebrate to a 37, as the announcers put them over as a very good tag team who could be a very tough part of the tag team division for any team to defeat. And after that, we have our big four corners elimination match to determine the next number one contender to the ROH World Title. And, back and forth match early, everybody hitting their spots. Richard's doing suplexes. Edward's doing his, brawling / strong style types. Bandido flying around. Homicide doing homicide things. And, announcers basically putting them over. These are all four former ROH world champions. But unfortunately, first eliminated, again, I'm going to ignore what the actual elimination is shockingly Homicide. Is basically Eddie and Davey team up and hit one of their old tag team finishers. I look it up, but, you can imagine it. And actually get the pinfall over Homicide after knocking Bandido out of the ring. But, of course, as what happens, even though, it's not a triple threat match, it's still a, elimination match. Eventually, Richards actually, attacks Eddie from behind and locks him into a submission hold right in the middle of the ring. And with nowhere to go, Eddie has to submit and is eliminated, and he rolls out of the ring. But then Bandido comes in, and it's back and forth between those two. But eventually, Bandido gets the pinfall victory over Davey Richards, and Bandido is your new #1 contender. This gets a 48. Homicide gets a 36. Eddie gets a 58. Davey gets a 56. Bandido gets a 34. And post-match, Eddie and Davey argue, and eventually, look like they're about to fight before Eddie just, looks upset and walks away as this gets a 44. And then we have, honestly, a little disappointing match, but honestly, I think Holidead's stats aren't the best in this because was only tired after 12 minutes, which isn't great. But anyway, this isn't quite a squash, but it's a dominant. It's Deonna Purrazzo being basically the class of the women's division here. Holidead gets her offense in, but Deonna really looks like the top star here. And eventually, Deonna Purrazzo gets her in the Fujiwara armbar with nowhere to go. Holidead has to tap out. This gets a 44. Deonna Purrazzo gets a 45. Holidead gets a 32. And post match, Deonna keeps the hold on. So sort of really put herself over when Willow Nightingale comes back out and goes after Deonna Purrazzo to make the save. And, Deonna walks away holding the title belt up, pointing at Willow as, this gets a 27, continuing this little women's division feud. And then, let's see here. So, this I took a risk was, so here's the thing. You need a technical masterclass on each of these shows, at least for how ROH is currently set up. But I looked up, and, both these guys have really good psych and really good technical ability. So, it's a world title match, and, I'm going to say that the Unders try to put this over as, an old school world title match between two great in-ring competitors, even, Dalton's, a bit of a veteran who's a little injured and a little slowed down, but he's still a great wrestler. And, it's back and forth. It's basically all clean. And, Dalton and Jonathan Gresham go back and forth trying to be the man who, getting the victory. Dalton does a little bit of flying, but eventually goes back, trying to go back on offense and lock Gresham in some holds. Gresham fights back with his own holds and a few big moves. But eventually, Jonathan Gresham locks Dalton Castle in the octopus hold, and with nowhere to go, Castle has to submit, and Jonathan Gresham gets a big victory here at Best in the World, retaining his world title. And let's see here, being also do this style of a match, and yeah, okay. Dalton is just going to get it, but Jonathan Gresham was also do this style of match. So, fun stuff. So yeah, this Dalton gets a 56, Jonathan Gresham gets a 56, overall this gets a 57, and a big victory for Jonathan Gresham. And of course, after the match, Bandido comes out, faces off against Gresham as the youngsters put over their prior history when Bandido was, I think, the interim world champion. And, looks like they're going to face off one more time. This gets a 28 because unfortunately these guys aren't that over. And with most stuff I noticed with the Who, but I think he underrated these guys a little bit because they're both top of the card guards in Ring of Honor. Anyway, I don't know. And then we have Randy Rhodes with Eddie Edwards, and he says, everybody basically told me, I like you, but your partner's a snake, and we know Davey's had his own problems, but I thought we're both here, we're both in the business a long time, and we're both here in Ring of Honor to prove we're the best. I thought we could do something together, but that's obviously long past Davey. So Davey, I want you in that ring. I want to remind everybody why I was always the best American Wolf. There you go, 37, decent promo, setting things up, and it looks like we get Eddie Edwards versus Davey Richards coming up. And then we have our big tag team main event, and this, again, I'm going to do a bad job of describing, a Briscoe Brothers Machine Guns match. It is, it's a great match. It's these two guys kicking the shit out of each other for, 18 minutes and getting a lot of big moves in between. Lots of, J drillers, insane moves, Shinorais, 450s, moonsaults, big dives, all that, submissions, all that fun stuff. But eventually, at the end of the day, Briscoe brothers, once again, are trying to prove they're the best tag team in the world. And they hit the Spike J Driller on Alex Shelley, pick the pinfall victory, and once again prove they're the best tag team in the world by getting the pinfall victory here, as this gets a 57, Mark Briscoe gets a 52, Jay Briscoe gets a 57, Chris Sabin gets a 51, and Alex Shelley gets a 54. And then post-match, we have a celebrate, but Chris Rush and Leo Bay basically come down and basically point at Jay and Mark, making the title belt motions, and Briscoe brothers just sort of, shrug and, do their, crazy redneck grins as they point to the titles, and it's like Bay and Rush might be the Briscoes' next contenders, as this gets a 41. And then we get Brandi Rhodes catching up with Willow, and Willow basically explains, Holly, she's not close to Holidead or anything, but she likes competing in that ring, one-on-one, and once you lose, you walk away with your head held high, and Deonna wanted to prove she's so much above everybody else. Well, here's the thing, Deonna, on the next show, I want you in that ring. And here's the thing, I know you're not giving me a title fight because you beat me, and that's fine, but I'm gonna find a partner, you find a partner, and let's do this thing. There you go. Official challenge for a tag match for the next show from Willow Nightingale. As gets a 22 because Willow's not that over yet, but hey, this is how you gain people with overness, right? And then, oof, okay. So, this is a couple things that are unfortunate. So, Cody Rhodes and Brandi Rhodes are an awkward pairing. Okay. I mean, that's kind of true. Like, if we remember AEW, or at least the late part of the AEW run, that's actually kind of true and sort of something I needed to change. Anyway. And Cody and Matt don't seem to click. And that's actually a bit unfortunate because I've got some big plans here. So it might mean some switching up or being okay with certain stuff not being at the top of the card anymore. Regardless, this is a slow style match. This is a sort of like WWE style match at the top of our ROH card, which, hey, it's Cody Rhodes. What do you expect? But, really still a really solid match, really good match, back and forth. Mack playing the heel, cocky heel, Chelsea Green at ringside, all that fun stuff. Cody Rhodes going, battling back with him. And eventually, Cody is a star of the promotion. He's way above everybody else, and he's not doing any jobs quite yet. So, Cody does his best. I mean, not Cody. Mack does his best, but in the end, Cody Rhodes hits the beautiful, he hits the, oh god, not the beautiful, yeah, he hits the beautiful disaster, and, oh god, I'm forgetting what his finisher is called. Oh my god. Crossroads, there we go. Sorry, I just had a complete brain fart there for a second. Anyway, and he hits it. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes gets a big victory here. And overall this gets a 53. Cody gets a 53. Mack gets a 41. But then, as Cody's getting up to the cheers of the crowd, all of a sudden, first comes in somebody and dropping in with a super kick, and the crowd pops as they realize it's Johnny Curtis, also better known as Fandango. And then Cody makes his way up, but then coming from behind and going after him is Aaron Stevens, better known, I guess, as a whole bunch of names, Mrs. Old part, old stand-in, Damian Sandow, whatever his name was in NWA, all that fun stuff. And they just begin beating the crap out of Cody as Matt Cardona slowly gets up and begins, cockily laugh, getting the mic from the announcer as Cody eventually rolls out of the ring as the 3 men stand tall alongside Chelsea, and Matt begins to talk. He basically, puts all these guys over, we are 3 men. We're always told if we got out of the yoke of the supposed devil in Stanford, we'd be so much better. And here's the thing. We all left, just like you, Cody. We didn't get any praise. We didn't get spots in New Japan. We didn't get part of the Bullet Club. No. We weren't ever elite. Because see, once we got out of the E, people thought, oh, these guys can't actually wrestle. All they know is to talk. All they think they can be entertaining characters. We want real workers. But here's the thing. Me, Dirty Dango over here, Aaron Stevens, smartest man in wrestling, we entertain thousands of people nightly. And we had to lower ourselves in front of you pathetic dorks already writing out your tweets and posting on your Reddits and being so upset on the internet about everything that happens in professional wrestling. You forgot this isn't about this isn't about star ratings. This business is about entertaining people. And what we see is an entire company where almost nobody actually is entertaining. So, we're here to actually bring you some entertainment. You got my baby girl, Chelsea Green. You got a man who can dance a million ways and take away your girlfriend, if you could ever get one, Dango Curtis. And we got the most intellectual force professional Aaron Stevens. Yeah. You could say we got a bit, and me, I am the biggest talent on the indies, Mack Cardona. Together, we got some egos. We take those egos to the max. We are Ego Max. There we go. We got a new sort of group here, stable. Ego Max. Get to 47. Not bad. Let's see here. We got Aaron Stevens getting an outside threat gimmick of great. Dango Curtis getting a dirty threat gimmick as poor. Still marketable. So there we go. But yeah. So, I mean, all three guys, like, I sort of figured, like, oh, wait, these are all three guys who, I mean, Cardona did get over in these indies, but sort of, like, despite himself, all kind of, like, by playing a totally different character. And then, like, Fandango sort of, like, disappeared, and I don't even know what he's doing. Like, I think he's selling real estate now, or is that, no, that's Tyler Breeze, not Dango. And Aaron Stevens, was of course one of the guys everybody thought was being destroyed by WWE booking, but then he went out in the rest of the out of the E and kind of floundered. And they're pissed at Cody because Cody did the same thing, only he's successful and blah 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 and all that fun stuff. So overall, the show gets us at 46. Okay, that's about what I expected. So not quite as good as our first show. So let's see here. Who actually did better than I thought? Okay, actually, Jonathan, great performance. Samuray also great performance. And Angel Williams, great performance. Oh, Impact actually had, okay, that's interesting. I'll have to check that out, just see what Impact did for their big show. Downside of a huge file like this is it takes a while to load up. Just look at that loading. All the workers in the universe. Oh my god. This guy, whoever he is. Sorry, I'm just like, this is legitimately taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Actually, no, it's almost done. So you can. I mean, honestly, this YouTube video, you can just skip ahead a couple seconds. Do these were to the T's. That's positive. Yeah, and the rest isn't. It should be pretty quick. Because how many people with V, but yeah. All right, we're getting there. Yeah, merchandise there. Okay. Rolling. Come on. Oh my god. Okay, I think next time I might actually. Wow. Okay. Bunch of retirements. Shark Boy. That's sad. But Morrissey's. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Let's see here. Any mail? Yeah. We got 12,000 viewers as compared with 11,000. I just want to make sure, was that better or worse than our first show? Okay, slightly worse, which I sort of expect because the main event kind of killed us. But anyway, so first let's check out Impact. Okay, Impact had Rhino versus um, oh god, what's his Big Cass and Moose. Rich Swann versus Brian Myers. Eric Young versus Crazy Steve. Mercedes Martinez versus Havoc and Savannah Evans. Jay White did a job to the Laredo Kid and Keith Miller. Okay, sure. Interesting. Not the best show. All Japan, Hiroko Seto versus Yuko Miyamoto. Sure. Which doesn't really exist in real life. So yeah, let's go ahead and go over some stuff. So size-wise, Dragon Progress, like, yeah, we dropped a little bit, which is not great, but we gained in places like Southwest and Northwest, so we're honestly right there as far as like keeping our price over, so I'm not that worried about that. So I'm just gonna have to we grow in other places. Let's see here. If we look at our roster, let me just first go to Receptions, Major Stars. So yeah, I mean Cody's going to probably stay at 60 until he like does some great promos, but also just because like she's not actually going to be part of the Cody story. Why is it so hard to have none? Oh, that's why, because that's top. Never mind. All right. So let's see here. First, now do we now have any stars? We do not. Okay. Do you have anybody who's well known? Okay, so Dalton Castle. Let's see here. How did this help or hurt him? Real quick. Um. Okay. Yeah. I mean, he basically like dropped up some 5 points and then like Trisha for dropping to Jonathan Gresham, which is fine. Eddie Edwards is at 40s. Let's see here. Survey says. Okay, so yeah, he lost like a point, but yeah, he's basically even. Let's see here. Jay Briscoe. That's another one. I mean, it kind of like they should probably be like mid-30s everywhere, maybe. Like I think even like wrestlers. Yeah, so some like slight gains in like actual overness for these guys. Recognizable. All right. Let's see here. Davey. Davey. Okay, so he's what's hanging around 26, 27. Let's see if that is hurt. Okay, so either up a little bit or not quite it. All right. Let's see here. Leo Rush. Was he helped by the big win? Okay. That's all. That's like up 5 points. Matt Cardona, who is not as over as I hoped he was, but you know, again, like this is the downside when you choose Umad is people are going to be less over. But like there you go. Like a point despite not even winning. And there you go. Rich one who hasn't debuted yet, but who I have an idea for. And now for the fun. All right. So first, let's just get this to mail first. All right. So of people I actually care about. Okay. So Bandido, buddy, how close are you to actually getting over? Okay. I mean, he went from basically no overness to actually being somewhat over everywhere, so that should be fine. For Spay, same thing. Let's see here. Okay, again, like up to like at least almost 10s everywhere. Let's see here. Josh and Gresham are worked. Okay, so at least Gresham's getting over in most places. And okay, yeah, so yeah. Honestly, that's somebody who I think also was like again, like weirdly, I actually like agree with most like the top level popularity markings because like nobody's actually that over in modern American wrestling at the moment, outside of maybe Roman. But yeah. Let's see here. Anybody else of note that we care about? Not really. All right, and again, titles. North American still Josh Woods, Women's World Champion is John Purrazzo, World Champion still Jonathan Gresham, and World Tag Team is Jay and Mark Briscoe. And our next event coming up is Glory by Honor, probably. And still have people who haven't debuted. Honestly, I'm gonna go a few months, see people who I'm not using at all, and probably get rid of them. But yeah, as a quick check, let's go around the wrestling world. Was there anything else here I wanted to show you guys? Not really. I have a couple storylines, but some of them I'm probably going to change. Yeah, because I don't need them. But they do help out the stories hot, I believe. But anyway, if we go to the rest of the wrestling world. Let's see here. So as far as Dynamite goes, let's see here, getting around. Yeah, Dynamite's getting around like 900,000 viewers, which is better than real life. And yeah, it's interesting. No big events really. All Japan you guys saw. Let's see here. Impact you guys saw. Although he had a big show, was highlighted by Buddy Matthews versus Enzio versus Yuri. Sure. Also had Nia Jax versus Brittany Blake. And TJ Perkins and Gangrel versus Davey Richardson and Blue Meanie. Okay. That's like a 0.6 war. Let's see here. Anything else? Not really. Oh, New Japan had their big show, Osaka. So let's see here. What is of note? Jay White defeated Yoshihashi. Taguchi defeated Evil. Toriano defeated Cody, retained the King of Pro Wrestling. Chaos defeated Ibushi and Kojima. And Tanahashi defeated Moxley and Naito in 86. And Okada defeat Kenta in 86. Good stuff. Then we anyway, USA. Kevin Knight versus Jonah. Okay, not that much actually. Then NXT. I showed you guys this, didn't I? Well, regardless, yeah. Oh yeah, I totally, because yeah, I noted the Hell in a Cell. I don't think you guys saw. But yeah, Roman versus Braun, Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre, RVD and Sami Zayn versus Rey Mysterio and Shinsuke Nakamura, Becky Lynch versus Natalya, Usos versus Cesaro and Finn Balor, Sasha versus Sonya Deville, Ryback and the Viking Raiders. Yeah, they brought Ryback back, sure, versus Brian Cage and the Alpha Academy. That's lots of women's policies violations. But yeah, again, like this is a little bit of like learning curve, not learning curve, but just getting used to stuff for me. And yeah, but I think this was solid. Again, so we sort of see something for the next month. We have Gresham versus Bandido for the world title. Looks like we're gonna have Briscoes versus Leo Rush and Chris Bay for the tag titles. David Richards versus Eddie Edwards, maybe. Willow and a partner versus Deonna Purrazzo and a partner. And then Cody Rhodes is not going to be happy about getting attacked by 3 men, but will he have any sort of backup? I'll just have to see. But that's it for now. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give a like. Comment below what you're liking and not liking. And of course, subscribe to the channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content such as this. My WWE 2005 series, now 4 years in after starting out in 2001. And of course, my New Japan 2004 series. But that's for now. Talk later, and adios. Have a good one.